keep California cowgirls from vanishing.
Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show, training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at Liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly.
Semi drives a cart. Sadie pulls a log. Sadie learns to pull a cart. Miniature zebu heifer Susie learns to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learns to pull a harrow. Cavalletti work improves stride length, balance, rhythm, suppleness, and focus on work. This exercise also strengthens back and neck muscles. Spacing between cavallettis depends on gait. Today's session about ground driving over cavallettis, we'll start with kind of a review of the tools we need. We need cavallettis. These are nicely built cavallettis, not too expensive, through bolted, can go various heights. We have them on the lowest height, and we have them set apart 2.5 feet from each other, measured from the middle of one rail to the other, because we're going to ask Firecrest Easter Eve, my Morgan mare, to step over those cavallettis. We're going to do it while I'm explaining to you what we're going to do. Brianna's going to do it just with a lead line, because we want to give Eve a chance to watch where her feet are. So she's got to kind of take responsibility. They're pretty close. Yeah, she touched it with that back left, and then she lifted real high after that. Okay, another tool, my arm extension. Another tool, a tape measure, because as we change gaits, we're going to have to move the cavallettis farther apart. And then we're following the suggestions from this book. We've done some shows about this book, but we never did this exercise, so we're specializing now on using the cavallettis. It's exercise number 97 in 101 long lining and lunging exercises. And it is described with typeset here. And my helper and I always read it ahead of time to remind ourselves what to watch for, and then there's some sketches on the back. And that's the case with every exercise. Now, we may even do it with some of our other horses, but we've been working with Eve on long lining, so we're going to start with her. Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to let my camera operator hold the book, because I'll probably want him to read the instructions one paragraph at a time. I'm going to show you how. Good, Eve. I'm going to put these long lines on. They're inexpensively made. They're just rope with some hardware to scissor clasps to clasp them on to, and with Eve, we find that we like to ground drive her with a side pull. So it's a rawhide noseband, it's got rings, these are long lines, these are about 22 foot each. We've got a nylon surcingle on with a breast collar. And notice that on my surcingle I have some clasps that give me a nice large ring to go through that can be pulled away from the body. Now Eve, we know Eve, and we're pretty sure that she's not going to get spooked by anything, especially here in the arena. So I'm being real lax about picking up the lines and so forth. Plus I have Brianna's help today, so okay. And you want to put that through the line, the ring. Okay, so we're going to start with the lead line on Eve, and then we're going to take the lead line off, and I'm just going to do, I hope, a few successful minutes of ground driving Eve, first away from the Cavalletties, a usual ground driving circle. Then I'm going to bring her over to the Cavalletties and ask her to ground drive over them at a walk, only at a walk today. Thanks. So we'll start leading Eve out to the center of the arena. This kind of exercise is best done in an arena, not a round pen, so that you do have places to go where there aren't the Cavaletti challenges. Okay, now I'm going to stand here in the center. Step up, Eve. Step up, G. You see how the rope is touching her on her back legs? Step up. Not over the Cavalletties. Not yet. We're just doing a plain old ground driving lunge circle, so to speak. Step up. Okay, I think you can release and maybe join up, stay with her, but not with the line. That's a term from Monty Roberts. It's a real helpful training aid. Somebody she knows and trusts that she's following. Good, Eve. Just a couple times around without the Cavalletties. Little give and take here on the inside or the outside ground driving line to keep that shape. Good. Next time around, I'm going to see if I can direct her over the Cavalletties. And you just saw her do it with the lead line. Let's see what she says about doing it with the ground driving lines. Good, Eve. See how I'm walking towards the Cavalletties to line her up. Down the center, little bit of left. There you go. Good. She's feeling it. She knows what her job is. Oh, and my job with those Cavalletti crossbars was to keep this line from getting hung up in the crossbars, and I almost forgot about that. Okay, now I'm going to ask Eve to keep going. Good. I'm going to go back out into the arena and turn her around and go the other direction. First, a time or two without the Cavalletties. Step up. Step up, G. Good. Now, Eve is being real quiet, but notice these ground driving lines, how they tend to wrap around your leg or fall on the ground. Be real aware of them, because if you do have a horse that gets spooked, you don't want these lines stuck on your legs or your arms. Good, Eve. Good, Eve. Good. No pressure at all. Pretty light touch here with my ground driving lines, which is what I want. This is a suppleness exercise. Okay, now we're going to go toward the crossbars. Notice how Brianna's helping her understand what the request is. Now I'm going to be more careful this time. Hold my lines up And that was a real successful crossing of the crossbars. Notice that we have yet a fourth crossbar Cavaletti here. So we'll work our way up to 4 of them along the south fence of my arena. We'll pull them farther apart according to the instructions in our book for a trot, and then maybe even a canter, and we'll show you our progress. Well, today is the day we're working with Eve in the arena with 4 Cavallettis lined up here on the south fence, and they're a little farther apart because we're going to ask her to do it at a trot. We've been working just very briefly. You can see how she's stepping over the Cavallettis very carefully. Good. Give her a little bit of left rein here to turn her. We're doing G and ha. We're just ground driving her behind at this point. Although we did practice the walk and trot as she did some ground driving around us. The outside line helps to control her head and therefore her hindquarters if they're going in the wrong direction or pulling out, or she's, Eve just went only over 2, so that has to be corrected. If your stick isn't doing you any good, just drop it. Yeah, because these lines, whoops, you've got the stick hanging, there you go. These lines can be cumbersome. Now, a little shorter, yeah. Now this time anticipate left lane, left rein. Keep her in the Cavallettis. Good. She didn't quite understand and she went out of the Cavallettis after the first 2. So I'm going to read you a few things here from the instructions. Drive the horse straight for a few strides to move the horse away from the circle that includes the poles and onto a new circle. Okay, well we're going to do that in a moment. We're going to do it at the trot. We're going to vary his trot speed, her trot speed, and we're going to work with the X-shaped Cavallettis at their lowest rung, as we did last time at the walk. Now, my camera operator now is going to follow us as Brianna and I try to do this at the trot. Keep it up high. Good, good. Okay, now I have a little bit more experience ground driving, so I'm going to take the ground driving reins now. Take Eve out to a place where there are no Cavallettis. Ask for an energetic trot. Step up. Good. Good. Here she goes. Forward motion. And rock. See how she came out of the circle a little bit too much pressure. There you go. That was a mixed gait. She wasn't quite sure how to do that at the trot, so she actually danced through it. Much better, but still a little bit out of rhythm. And drop. Easy now, easy now. I let her slow slowed down. I asked her to do it easy. She was a little more careful, which actually came down to a walk. Trot. She knows I want her to trot, but she's being real careful. Trot. Still, we didn't get that trot rhythm all the way through. Repetition. Pull down on my right. Let her approach it on a straight path. There we go. Whoa. Boy, I hope my cameraman got that, because that was a perfect trot rhythm. Didn't touch any of the rails. Very nice, Eve. Now we're going to go back out where there aren't any Cavalletties. Go in the other direction. Try it again. Eve is understanding now what she's supposed to be doing. Change. Change. Resolution.
Here are clips of Sonia ground driving Eve at a canter over ground poles.
We're going to try to pick up a canter, and we're first going to ask her to canter over some ground poles, these white ground poles that are about 7 to 8 feet apart. And trot. Trot. And canter. Whoops. She's just trying to please. I got a little bit too close to the Cavalletties. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get her to canter with these ground driving lines, but it's instructive to watch. And canter. Almost. And canter. There you go. Whoa. Yeah, and she's licking her lips. She understood, but it took a little bit of encouragement. G. Let's try again. Let me go here in the middle first. Notice that I took a skipping rhythm. I have learned that that helps the horses understand, whether from the ground or in the saddle. The rhythm of the handler helps them to understand what rhythm you're asking from them. Let me come back a little bit. And canter. Canter. And canter. Easy now. Ooh, I wouldn't try this with just any horse, because that's a lot to ask on a 20-foot line like this with ground driving lines to pick up that canter. But Eve is responding. She could have very easily have pulled out of my hand, and she didn't. Let's try again over the ground poles. Can you get over here? Yeah. And canter. Canter. Woo! Very nice. Woo! Good. And canter. Canter. 1, 2, 3. Woo! She's licking her lips. She likes to please if she understands what you're asking.
Here are clips of Brianna ground driving Eve over Cavalletties and ground poles, which are about 7 foot apart.
Now Brianna, who's a relatively new ground driving handler, is helping Eve. Good. Do the kind of an energetic trot over these Cavalletties. We still have the ground poles set up. Keep the ground driving lines up over the ends. Good. Very nice. Now I'm going to try to help Brianna pick up a canter, and she's going to see if she can get Eve to canter over the white ground poles. So over there, the sun. You saw how I skip and kiss? Too fast. Watch it. You've got a director. You're going to lose the lines. Okay. A little bit of right rein to keep that eyeball towards you. There you go. Very nice. Now you see that Brianna's going back down to a slower gait to reconnect with Eve, and that's good. Slower is usually easier.
Here are clips of Sonia clarifying some ground driving cues for Eve.
Eve is confused, but she is licking her lips. Can you straighten that out, Scott? No, not too much pressure. Too much pressure. Oh, don't do the signal after that. Let me stay over here. And canter. Now she thinks the right answer are the Cavalletties. Let me try to clarify. Back down to a walk. Oh, straighten that out. Tanner. Tanner. Hands up. Good. Good. Back. Back. Kick. Go. Go. Whoa. Good. Now, let me review what happened. She got kind of confused in the counterclockwise direction to pick up the canter. Took us about 5 minutes of repetition to get her to realize that we were asking for the 3-beat gait and not a faster trot. And she got a little bit hard with her side pull on her face, and that was because of her confusion. But I kept looking for licking of the lips. When I released pressure, she immediately showed me that she was grateful, and we finally got the answer. And we're going to stop at the right answer, even though it's just one more time today.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Sammy, Rusty, and Susie. Heifer calf Sela. For more information, www.thecowgirlchannel.com.